It's nice to follow from Anne because she said a few nice things about Open RAN technology and how it's here to stay, hopefully. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk specifically about Open RAN, where we are, and what the challenges are that the industry faces. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of the Connect conference here in Dresden, a city whose roots date back to 7,500 BC and also is the home to one of the TU9 universities. It's nice to be back in person. So in the last 3 to 4 decades, telecommunications and internet have impacted our lives in unprecedented ways. Even today, major societal and economic trends are defining the needs of the future. Now the discussion is focused on the interaction between the communication networks, the human world, the digital world, as we heard from the gentleman from Meta, and the physical world. In such a scenario, we've just embarked on a 5G journey. Pardon me for saying a few words about NEC, but when I joined NEC almost 15 years ago, someone asked me what NEC does. I used to think what the best way to describe this company would be. The different verticals that NEC touches in the past seemed like a distraction, as I was focused on the telecoms business. But today, it's actually an asset. Utilizing the cutting-edge technologies such as biometric authentication, artificial intelligence, and 5G that connects everything from the ocean floor to the outer space, we provide extensive value to our customers in a wide-ranging fields all over the world. So in 5G, everything is connected as Internet of Things, which is quite different from the evolution up to the 4th generation for the communication between people to people. And 5G is enabling new services and experiences everywhere, such as autonomous vehicles, robotics, augmented reality, virtual reality, AI operations, holograms, etc. We all share that connectivity. Autonomous cars have very different needs to a teacher in a classroom or a gamer. The target of 5G is not just the consumer anymore, but is very much also focused around the enterprise. So there are a lot of promises that Open RAN 5G needs to deliver. No company can do this alone and should not do it alone. As an industry, we need to bring together the benefits and the needs of the telco networks, the cloud technologies, the industries that we actually need to serve, and work with an ecosystem of partners in a radically open way, with the best-of-breed products that we need, even working with our competitors. It is on its way to plug and play, but better, where we are certainly better than the proprietary solutions as Single RAN. So my focus here is to make the case for Open RAN. Over the last 2 to 3 years, the industry has gone through a lot of discussion on whether there is a viable way to build networks or not. Obviously, those who are vested will want the solution to work and succeed. But it's always good to get a 360-degree feedback on what people actually think. With the help of some industry colleagues, spanning vendors, operators, and integrators, we looked at multiple attributes, but a few that I would like to highlight are improved market access. The flexibility through software is a key attribute that Open RAN brings. As an example, the ability to use a pool of software developers to deliver tailored network performance, be it for latency or traffic speeds, etc., is now a possibility. We see a lot of innovative companies emerging doing just that. I don't really have to dwell on how the iPhone drastically changed that. Better products, collaboration is the key. Collaboration between hyperscalers and operators is nothing new. Again, referring back to what we heard a little bit earlier on from Meta. We extend that to include an order of magnitude more of developers, giving much more choice to the market. After all, it's not uncommon to see even today incumbents partnering with other companies, and rebadging as their own solutions. Faster time to market is another attribute. With IoT, effort going into the IoT and the automation of that whole process, the ability to switch hardware and software components without extensive discussions around proprietary interfaces and solutions, and making things work now becomes an easier to implement reality. This can translate into quicker introduction of solutions into the market with the potential to speed up time to deliver new products into the network being reduced drastically. The reliability side of things can also be realized in two different ways and talked about in two different ways. One is more security around the supply chain, as different vendors have different logistics hubs, typically, so there is potential to minimize the inventory risk that we're all facing in the industry today. Combine that with cloud computing and redundant server architectures, and the network reliability will also increase. So one of the mostly hotly debated topics today, and I get asked about this a lot when I'm dealing with my potential customers, is the TCO of Open RAN. Many of the benefits of the technology and the promise it brings is not something that I highlight as a vendor. It is something that is also coming from the operators themselves, as various POCs and plug fests have taken place over the last couple of years, and people are starting to get comfortable with the technology itself. However, now, as we look towards commercial deployment, there is a tendency in the market that on day zero, they expect the TCO to be equivalent to what they would buy in SRAN systems. What contributes to the TCO is highlighted on this slide, and I don't intend to go through each and every point. What I want to focus on is more the points which actually are taking the TCO in the wrong direction. There is a gap on energy consumption, which I feel will be filled in the very short term. And in fact, it has to be filled because there are very, very hefty penalties that us as vendors have to sign up to as part of the KPIs of a contract. The other area is the risk premium that is being placed on system integration and how it's viewed. Who takes that ultimate responsibility for the solution when the solution itself is made up of numerous different subcomponents? What is becoming apparent is that until O-RAN standards mature, there are costs that are incurred in terms of vendor management, system design, compatibility testing, etc. Over time, they should reduce, and I would expect that to be in the time frame of 18 to 24 months. However, if that is how long operators will take to make the plunge into Open RAN, I think the progress we have all made will start to stall. So the role of system integrators is critical now, but there are different models that are emerging. There are those that want to invest in Open RAN, but without wanting to take the risk on the reliability and stability aspects. They have decided to start operations with a pre-integrated ecosystem. There are others who do not want a predefined ecosystem and want the choice that Open RAN gives from day one, but take the one-throat-to-choke approach in their buying decisions. Finally, there is a model where certain operators will take responsibility of the solution, but work with an SI to deliver the expertise. Underpinning all of these, it is important to have a good solution stack and ecosystem, focus on the vendor and risk management, and ensure that the comfort level with Open RAN increases in areas such as rapid interoperability testing to enhance its value. The whole premise is that the ecosystem can be changed as the solution matures. And what we're starting to see in some of the models is that there are operators who are willing to actually do the testing in the vendor lab. They then take it into their own labs once the vendors have complied with their specifications that they've said the Open RAN solutions can deliver. And then it's gradually moved into the field-ready situation. and then it moves into operations. So to summarize those system integration challenges, the complexity of multi-vendor management. So when you're looking for working with a system integrator, it's really, really important that these challenges are addressed. We have to come up with compatible systems with true openness. The maturity of the technology itself is sometimes questioned. Well, we've got to provide the validated performance for commercial use. And finally, there's the difficulty to guarantee carrier-grade stability. I think that's something we have to say that it's uncompromised in terms of stability and performance as an industry. So whoever you choose to work as your SI or program manager has to have the right balance between the telco skills and the IT skills. There are a lot of companies who are stepping up and saying, I can do the Open RAN system integration. And also, there has to be the right balance struck between the solution, the openness and the innovation, as well as the performance and maturity. So to summarize, innovation in Open RAN will continue. And in the last few years, the focus has been in getting radio units out there that not only cater for the 4G and the different bands, but also the emergence of active antenna systems, very complex, high-order massive MIMO. Ensuring that the CUDU software is robust and feature sets are reaching parity with incumbent vendors is now being achieved. I feel this is the year of the system integrator. That is the key to success of Open RAN and to bring that TCO closer to what is set as a bar towards the industry players who are really trying to bet on Open RAN. And the next 12 months will be about automation and realizing the potential of the RAN intelligent controller. So when it comes to the operator community, there is a choice. Bite the bullet. Do not measure TCO on day one, on day zero. Invest upfront. There are customers that I talk to who have taken that attitude towards the introduction of Open RAN. Give a little bit of time for the savings and benefits of virtualization and cloudification to be realized. Incumbent vendors will prevent Open RAN from succeeding. They'll always create that fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's not in their best interest. They don't want to have a choice. They don't want you to have a choice. You can choose to live with them, beat them on price, and ride it out. But as Jan Bockfield said this morning, 5G is just not another G. Openness and flexibility will be key going into the other Gs. And the sooner we try to make that transformation, and it's not just a single MNO transformation, but an industry transformation that's on its way, Open RAN will not just be about today. I think it'll impact the future Gs. So to close, I just want to leave you with a quotation from Pablo Picasso. Others have seen what is and asked why. I have seen what could be and asked why not. Thank you.
Viplob, thank you very much. So we're gaining time, and we've got the possibility, once again, to ask you some questions. Are there any? Over there? We've got a microphone over there too. Great.
Contradiction between compatible systems and true openness, because true openness means, I have to go on and on and on in my development, and compatibility requires that I meet the standards as they are. So one is more the fixed point and one is a floating point.
I think one of the reasons, I think what you're saying is that when do we achieve that true openness? And I think there's a lot of work that's going on within ORAN Alliance to define those open interfaces. And actually, what I've also seen is that a lot of operators are now, when they actually come out with an Open RAN tender, they're actually almost mandating that we have to have a collaboration agreement with all the different partners that they want us to work with in an open way. So it's not just all about developing the standards and so on and so forth. It's also a mindset change in terms of how we work and how we see each other. Because a lot of the times, I have partners that I work with that are actually my competitors too. But if we can just make that shift in terms of the way we have interacted in this industry and the silos that we've created, I think it will help. But I think the O-RAN Alliance's work is critical in terms of that openness that is required and the interfaces that we're talking about. I don't know if that's answered your question. I didn't fully...
Okay for me.
Any more questions? So once again, thank you very much.
Thanks.